Good morning. And welcome to the Rotary Club District 6960 Summit Breakout for Education and Literacy. But I like to call it Learning and Literacy. So ask yourself, why are we here? We're here to help Rotary become a better learning and literacy partner to the world and to the West Coast of Florida. Think about it. That's what when you hear these folks speak today, all right, and you think and you ask yourself, why am I here? Why are they here? We're trying to help Rotary be a better learning and literacy partner to the world and to the West Coast of Florida. So I'm going to be peppering that in throughout. I'm also going to be peppering a book that I'm currently reading called The Formula. And it's a early learning program. One of the biggest things it talks about for early learning is an early learning partner. But it really talks about how successful folks have had a partner, a help, a advocate all the way through their education, learning, and literacy life. All right, and Rotary can be that partner/advocate. They are in a lot of places. The programs that you're going to hear this morning, they are. But how can we either be that partner where we're not, or be a better partner for learning and literacy through the world and the West Coast of Florida? So I have our agenda up here. It's also in your program. Okay? We've broken it out into international and then two speakers here on the West Coast of Florida, 2 and 2. So, and with no further ado, our second most furthest traveled guest to this district conference, and she asked me, she blessed me without having to say her last name, but Maryline from Tanzania. Please welcome. And Stan from Sarasota Sunrise Club is going to introduce her. Thank you.
Oh, that's what practice does for you, right?
There you go.
Don't worry, Andy, I'll be off the stage real fast. But as many of you know, I've been working in Tanzania on promoting computer literacy to improve education for about 20 plus years now. And for the last 10 of those years, Rotary has been an integral part of that program. In fact, in 2014, my wife and I moved to Tanzania and spent the year there working on those programs. During that year, I began an internship program with 2 local universities. And one of my interns showed such promise that I decided to explore her long-term vision. And she told me, I'm going to read this, that she'd been blessed with a devoted mother who sacrificed to give her daughters the best education possible. That was kind of her sponsor and her mentor. And this had given this young woman advantages denied to most Tanzanian children. So her dream now was to be able to give back and find ways to help more Tanzanians' children have those same opportunities. My Sarasota Sunrise Rotary Club brought into that dream. We brought her to the U.S., spent 4 months at St. Stephen's Episcopal School in Bradenton, working directly with the head of school on how we do things in America, not only how we teach, but how parents get involved, the relationship between teachers and students, and all the things that go into education that are very different in her country. Then when she went back to the country, the Bradenton Rotary Club sponsored her to go back and work on the projects, our libraries there in Tanzania, to improve things there. After she left, a few months later, the executive director of my organization over there retired. He was a senior education official, 65-year-old man who'd been in education his entire life, risen to the top. He was running things. The local board over there had seen Maryline in operation for a few months, and they said, we want her as our executive director. 3 years out of university. Wow. So when District Governor Sandra asked me if I could bring a Tanzanian to the district conference to demonstrate the potential impact on international service and the good Rotary can do in the world, I had an easy decision. I It is my pride, my joy to introduce Maryline Mamuya.
Sure. Yes.
Good morning, Rotarians. Good morning. It's a beautiful day, and you all are very lovely and sweet people. I was just thinking this morning, and I was like, oh my God, these people are just so sweet, and I feel so loved here. I feel so good, and I was like, if I was back in my country, I think there were so many things that have been going around, like thunderstorm going around, like, you know, you get up in the morning, oh, it's not easy, there's nowhere to press a button on, like, you know, you wash your clothes just to press a button, you do laundry and you press a button, and you do this, you turn on your car, you press a button, and I'm like, life is so sweet here.
Bucket shower.
Bucket shower, well, we do a lot of bucket shower there. I feel so blessed to be here. I'm very grateful that Rotary has changed my life. I'm very blessed in a special way. And not just to be very selfish, Rotary has changed the lives of many Tanzanian children. When we talk of Tanzania, I don't know if you people have probably heard of Tanzania, some people I know, and you would say that, Stan, but some of us have never heard of Tanzania. We are somewhere there in Africa, east of Africa, way down there. They call us developing country, and I'm really okay with that because we are really developing. We need to run as you guys are really walking. Probably you may have to close your eyes, but we are way behind. However, we are blessed with many things. Many people know of Tanzania because of around 3 to 4 things that makes Tanzania very famous. And I don't know if you people know them. Do you? Does anybody know? What do you know? Tanzanite. There you go. There you go. What else?
Safari.
The safari. You should be coming. What else? What about the Mount Kilimanjaro?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yes. Those are the major things that people know about Tanzania. Well, we also have something, the island, the Zanzibar island. Very famous also. Being in a tourist world, that's what we think. We forget about these other things that really bring about a country. We are very lucky that Tanzania is a peaceful country. That is something that we are blessed for. And that really takes care of the big picture of Tanzania. And then when we come back to reality, where the real Tanzanian lives when it comes to education, that is where we need some help. If I can take you through, in a Tanzania learning environment, a class, can you think like how many people would be in a class? In a class of, let's say, primary, this would be elementary school. How many people would be in one class? What? Any gesture?
20.
40.
20, 42.
There.
Where did you say?
There, 100.
Your class, right. So a class in elementary school would have around 66 to 200 students. with one teacher. There's no an assistant teacher there. One teacher. Can you think that every student will learn in this class? And again, our classes are not as fancy as your classes here. You know, you have everything taken care of. You have cameras around, so you know who can be somewhere. You have this, you have water there, you have... No, it's not like that back home. It's different. It's different. However, when you see the kids in my country, the children there, they have the best smiling faces ever. And I'll take you another thing, I'll take you through the language, the means of communication. When a child is brought up from elementary school, that's what I would call here, but back at home we call it primary school. Our learning education goes to all the way 13 years, whereas you guys have 12 years. And the basic primary school, which is elementary for us, is 7 years. And within these 7 years, a child has to learn literally everything in the national language, which is Swahili. Right? And that's easy, and we are thankful that we had to learn through Swahili because Tanzania has over 134 tribal languages, and if it wasn't for Swahili, we would never understand one another. It would be very difficult. So we thank the former leadership, Nyerere, Honorable Nyerere, that took care, at least we got together and, at least we learned everything in Swahili. However, that doesn't end there. When you get to secondary school, which is around grade 7 here, you then learn everything in English. Everything in English, with an exception of the Swahili subject. And how is that? Coming from a class of 66 to 100, 200 students, and then you go to another step in life, and then everything changes from Swahili to English. That is a whole of an experience. And then, at least if everything was in English, then you have all the resources, then life would be much better. But then you get there, and yet you're in class, and you share one textbook with 5 other students. So that's how realistic Tanzania is. Forget about Mount Kilimanjaro, forget about the safari, but let's go to where, we need some attention when it comes to education. I'll talk about, we have national exams, and I don't know what you consider them here. Do you have national exams? Okay. Well, we have the national exams where if you want to be successful in my country, you want to get somewhere, you have to pass your national exams. So when a child is growing up from class 1 to class 7, the final year of class 7, they have to do a national exam. And then we have something called the secondary school, which is broken into 2 sides. We have the A level and the O level. The O level begins first and then the A level comes later. And all of these places you have to do the national exams. So when kids today, I don't know, I don't trust my government for some reasons. So today, a child finishes the primary school and they are all considered to have passed the national exam. So that's the motion today. And guess what? The moment they get to secondary school, they don't even know how to write their names. For the past 5 years, 7 years they've been learning, and then they have to get into secondary school. They don't even know how to write their names. They don't even know how to read. And they've passed the national exam. We're heading there. Then they finish, they go to secondary school, and so you see everything is in English, and literally everybody, we happen to find so many dropouts because it's very difficult to cope. Just things are not working as the way you would want them to be working. And so by the time they get to their O level, a class which had 200 students, maybe just 20, 30 out of them can pass to the next level. And then what happens to the rest 150? These are the ones you see on the streets. These are the ones you would see if you happen to be in Tanzania. Many people, you walk around, we are so many people, you know. Our population today is about 55 million, and you know, and that population takes care of a big number of the youth, and they are all over. So again, we see how there's a need to really focus on education and find ways to improve things. I'll take you again on something that really is the major thing that's making me to be here in front of you. This is when it comes to technology. And when I talk of technology, I would refer to just computer technology and just a very small part where I call it the basic learning of a computer that anybody should be having it, because in today's world, everything is digitalized, everything is in technology, everything, you press a button, you press a button, you press a button, and if you don't know if to read, that's a press a button, you'll stuck there. If you don't know how to do it, you won't move. And then technology, computer, can simplify that part. It can simplify that part in different ways. So today I will take you through that computer part that we are really engaged, and I find it to be very useful, and I'll take you through and tell you why is it very useful in my life and in the life of many young Tanzanians. So we have this library, we call it the Internet Library. This library was funded by Sarasota Sunrise Club some years ago, 7 years ago, I guess. Everything that you see in there was funded by Rotary. And I would say it's the only existing internet library in the country that takes care of children or students. Why do I say this? I know we have universities, but it doesn't take care of the children that I'm talking about. Talking of the children at the age of from 13, 12 years old all the way to 18. Because having internet in the country is one thing, having computer is another thing, and then without forgetting when the power goes off, where we don't really have power throughout. You know, in a day, power will go off at least once, and that's very okay, that's very normal. And nobody cares if something goes off and it never turns on. You can never say, oh, dial whatever, come and fix my TV. It doesn't work like that. So we have this library that students have been able to come over from very remote areas, and Rotary has sponsored all their moves from schools, and they would come, they would search for materials, academic learning materials. They are assigned by their teachers to look for one thing, two things, and they would come and do that. And later on, Rotary takes care of their meals. Rotary takes care of when power goes off, we just press a button, and that happens next. So this has made a change in the lives of many young Tanzanians who have never sat in front of a computer. It has made a change to more than 10,000 Tanzanian students. And today we are celebrating some good outcomes, because I've been able to see some students who have made it to university, and they would make phone calls with their schools and the head of schools would call us and tell us, thank you so much, because this thing has changed our lives. Why am I saying this? Because in a Tanzanian learning environment, you would learn how to use a computer when you're at university. When you're in secondary school or primary school, there are no computers. And if there's one, then it's just maybe 2 or 3 schools in the region that have computers. And then you pray that they are really working computers and they serve a purpose. But unless otherwise, they are not there. So a child grows up. When I was here 2015, and Rotary took good care of me, I went through the school and I found out that a child at the age of 4 years old has a small tiny iPad, and that child is learning how to write A, and they go like that, you know? And when I was learning, okay, forget about me, at least I'm a little bit grown up, but the ones who are there today, you see how they would hustle going about writing an alphabet A on the exercise book, and nothing proves to them that they've done it very well or not, because it's a class of 66 students and above. Who cares of what you've been writing there? Unless if you're blessed to have parents who can really pay attention. So you study throughout that time, through secondary school, there's no computer, there's nothing, they've never even seen one. And then, boom, here it comes in university. In the first year, it's a must, it's a compulsory. However, a university could have around 50 computers, and universities could take care of 3,000, 5,000 number of students. And we expect all of them to learn and know how to use computer. How is that going to help? And we have to compete in the job world market. We have to find jobs like anybody who would find a job in Google. And there's a Tanzanian child somewhere there saying, I will one day work at Google, and I'm like, we need to keep praying for that. But so anyway, this library has changed the lives of many people today. And in that way, I would say that I am grateful. Thank you so much. I know we have all participated in a different way. Whether we did it by ourselves, whether it's another club that did it, but it has made it successful. Thank you all. This is another club, this is another library that I would call it, the internet library was the mother library, and this is the, maybe because I'm a girl.
Mother-in-law?
Daughter, thank you. And after discovering that there is a huge demand with the need to read and learn, and the fact that internet is still a challenge here and still a challenge back at home, we came up with the digital library, and I would call it an offline library. We assemble materials or learning materials from all over around the world. And we have kept it in a format that helps and serves the purpose of a Tanzanian child today. And we have assembled even things that you know about, Khan Academy, Today, in my community, some children can see and learn through the Khan Academy. Look at a video, and or watch a video, read something, and they'll be doing it just like a child in the US. So the idea behind is that this library has been very useful, and that it has helped many students to date, and this seems to be one of our solutions that we think we need to impact in our community. That we need to put this, as we say, we need this in every school in Iringa. So literally this is our district commissioner, who you consider a governor here. And when he visited us to see what's happening in our complex, he said, wow, we need this in every school in Iringa. And I said, you're right there on target. We need this. If you're a government representative, you know how much we need this. So do we need this in every school in Iringa to begin with. However, it would be our wish to put it everywhere. And so this is, as we've done that in our complex, we did a pilot last year to current with 2 schools, one being a public school and the other one being a private school. And we have had tremendous good results out of it. Our teachers from these schools have said it has changed their lives. It has built a lot of confidence for the students because, you know, the more you get to know things, the more confident you are. The more you get to know technology, the more you get to use a computer, the more you read things, you become more confident. So this has changed the lives of our students, their attitudes towards life. It has brought more knowledge. Where we've kept this as a pilot school, this school turned out to be the first school in the district. And that's for one of their national exam. And then the other national exam, because there are 2 in secondary school, it turned out to be the 5th school in the district. And for us, that was what we have been looking for. It has kept changing a lot, the reading habits. It has helped around with the scarcity of books. With students, they can at least do a number of research because they have varieties of things to learn. It has made them have a better understanding because if they don't understand in a class of 66 students, then it's easy for them to walk in this library and learn better. And eventually, they've become global citizens because they know what's happening around the world. And in this way, we would love to have this in many of our schools. We believe that it will be a solution to many. It will reduce the number of dropouts we have. It will reduce the number of pregnancies to the young girls because we have that a lot. So if we are able to put this in many schools, it will bring an impact. And this is just the last picture that I love because these are the primary students, and there are few of these lucky students in our community that have had a feeling and a touch to a computer. And they are practicing their reading or their writing skills or anything. So just to end this up, thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll be having questions. I'll invite questions. And I hope to hear more of your questions. In my country, if somebody says thank you, they say asante sana. Asante sana.
This question and answers are going to be in 2 parts. If you have any questions specifically for Maryline and her work, and then if you have more Rotary questions, Stan's here to answer those. So, Maryline, any?
Yeah, I was curious, does Tanzania also have an open internet, or is there a government blockage in the information they can receive?
Today, we have had a new governance over the past 5 years, and there has been a lot of change. We are having access to internet, to all this social media we could have. However, as days are going about, I can see the change towards freedom of information, that somehow the system and the new leadership is trying to bring a barrier for that. We had that freedom, we could say, we could speak, and today it's changing. And I don't know, because our, leaders come up with new things, and tomorrow, next year, his time will be out. I don't know if he's really going to be out, or I don't know, but.
I have a question specifically, it's kind of half Rotary, half your work. How many children have come through with these labs since they've started? Do you have any idea?
Yes.
Okay.
With the internet library, I mentioned that it's over 10,000 students have used this library,
10,000.
that have impacted this library. With the offline library, we've just been piloted it with our community, and our community would roughly have around 5,000 students. With the schools that we've done the pilot, all schools would have around 1,000, so it's around 2,000 people in the school. So,
Okay. Great. Any other questions for Mary?
I noticed in the photographs it's mostly boys. Are the boys given the precedence over the girls to go to the libraries?
no, it's because the girls, it's because we all have, if you're in school, you all have to have short haircuts. So the short haircut makes us all look like boys.
I see.
One of the schools in the picture is an all-girls school.
Okay.
Like this one is a girl, this teeth here is a girl, this is a girl, this is another girl.
Yes, one more question for Maryline.
Maryline, your equipment that you get, is it sent over to you from USA, or do you purchase it from in Tanzania? Because it seemed to me it'd be cheaper if you could purchase a lot of that within the country.
Okay, are you talking of the computers here or what?
Yes, for your labs.
You wanna take care of that, Barbara?
Yeah, okay. We buy refurbished equipment. We don't buy it, excuse me. We have it donated to us. It comes either from Computers for Africa, which is in the UK, or the World Computer Exchange, which is in Canada. We stopped getting free computers because free computers we had to pay for all the shipping and all the other things with it. The international organizations that we get from, they give it to us and we pay a fee for the handling and the clearing and everything. Interestingly enough, our refurbished computers are doing better in terms of life than the local computers that some of the corporations in the country have given to us. So, but it's a challenge. I mean, when you talk about things like this, the challenges are not what you would think they would be. Okay? Here's this wonderful thing. We can give you 10 refurbished computers versus 1 new computer. And you take it to a school and everyone says, all happy. When you leave, they say, why did they give us used computers? Do they think that we're not as good as the rest of the world? Yeah. So it's, the education you have to go through never stops. And you really have to do all of that.
Is the data preloaded into the computer, or is this information that you guys have to load when you get the computer?
No, we do all of the downloading of things.
What about software? Because sometimes there are issues of operating systems and being current or not current, and what kind of and the key about a computer is it's about the software. Do the kids learn how to use the software? I've seen computers internationally. The computers were there, but kids didn't know how to use the software. So what software are you using? Is there a standardization of what they need to move out into the world into business situations, or is it specific educational software for the topics what they're learning in school?
Okay, I think I've got you in 2 ways. If it's the software, we use the basic Microsoft software, the Word, the Excel, the PowerPoint, we use that. Those are our basics to train.
And is that donated?
Say it again.
Is it donated, the software? Bill Gates? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Now, there are programs that facilitate things like this that you can get involved in that make software very low cost. Like even I have the entire Office suite updated all the time in my organization for next to nothing. So yes, that's an easy thing for us.
Time for 2 more questions, actually. Anyone? Ma'am?
Sort of tying on the last lady's question, in regards to the academic software that you're using for the students, primary and secondary, is the primary in Swahili? Is the secondary in English? Could you comment?
Yes. First of all, we've focused on secondary students because we believe that these are the ones that will be going to university very soon. So these are the ones we are really focused to work with. So whatever we are doing right now, we are working with the secondary students. However, we've just begun engaging the younger ones who are the primary students. And what we do with them is just some mere little activities that engage their understanding and thinking and reading and writing skills. So it's just very little that we are doing for the primary kids, but our big focus is for the secondary students. And that takes care of it. Everything is in English.
Anything else? Stan has one more closing.
Okay. I just want to make a couple comments. And one of them is that, historically Rotary has put a tremendous amount of support into health. And that makes sense. We got focused on polio. We have programs like Gift of Life. If you looked at our global grants around the world, you'd find about 85% of them were in health, water, sanitation, things of that nature. It makes sense. Those are the things that are in front of us. Those are the things that we're dealing with. But if we want to change that picture, there's only one way to change it, and that's by education. Education is not today's thing. It's not right in front of us. So, our club and some of the clubs that have worked with us, because we've had very close relationships with the Bradenton Club, with the Venice Sunrise Club, have decided they want to put some focus on education. If people in this room are in clubs that focus on education, we'd sure like to have your support, because the more support we get, the more schools we can bring into this kind of a program. Because in reality, when you're dealing with developing nations, the single biggest need they have is leadership. Okay? There are some leaders at the top, and then there is an enormous drop-off into what's available. They need leadership. They need people like Maryline. They need investment in bringing them along, and that's what education is all about. So I really want to thank District Governor Sandra for inviting us to participate in this. I want to thank the sponsors who brought Maryline here, including the Marco Island Club, who participated in that, and Sandra Stamey for our club. And Maryline will be here out at the House of Friendship if you want to learn more about what we're doing and participate in our upcoming global grant, and we'd love to have you. So thank you. Maryline, I'll let you finish it.